So, there's Lexus. It's like Hollywood Squares. Everybody just pops up.
You're not live.
I'm live? Thank you. Call the meeting to order. First part of business is Alexis. Welcome to the committee. You'll find that this committee does an awful lot, and I think Mr. Murray described it one time as one of his first 2 or 3 meetings was drinking out of a fire hose. So obviously, Michelle will answer any of your questions because I don't know how. Michelle's very good at it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So is everybody ready? I will accept a motion to accept the minutes of our December 11th meeting.
So moved.
So can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Obviously, I'm going to let Michelle go on with her report, a couple of highlights, and I don't want to steal your thunder. And if I do, tell him to just disconnect me, okay? Obviously, I'm going to get on my bandwagon for a second. One of my perks as a chairman, okay, is, we've gotten this stimulus money that's a nice chunk of change to replace an awful lot of the money that we did not have for our deficit budget last year. One of the items that Michelle has is our Payroll Stabilization Fund. I have now lived through 2 of these financial crises, and I hope to never live through another one, okay? And hopefully none of us ever live through another one. It's down to about 115,000. Did I see that number?
157,000.
157. I told you, sometimes I have to blow this up, okay? Eric, it's something that I would strongly suggest that you recommend and do, and Mr. Brady with the commission, that we start building that back to, and I think the number that we came up with was about $700,000 to get it to that point. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen in the next 2 months or something, but I think, Eric, that should be a priority so that, God forbid we get COVID-2 or whatever, we've got that. And let's face it, that stabilization fund saved us.
Yeah.
And if I could really quickly.
Absolutely, sir.
Say, Michelle and I and the commission leadership conversations already have said, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we get that payroll stabilization and the reserve to a healthy place with these replacement funds. The good news is we've lived a lot of the cuts already, and so we should have the ability to put that revenue replacement back to put us in solid footing in both of those accounts. And only then will we look at investment in whether it's projects or staffing or anything else that might also be eligible, but we will make sure that we do that from a strong foundation, both for payroll stabilization as well as for the reserve of the city.
I said, I remember 2008 when we didn't have it, and this time we had it, and again, saved our, behinds. So with that, if I stole your thunder, I apologize, and the floor is yours, Michelle.
Great, thank you. I appreciate the comments. So I just want to comment a little bit on the February financials and where we're at. We ended the February general fund cash balance of $4,150,000. So again, pretty healthy where we're at. This has contributed largely to us keeping our expenditures down. Most of our expenditures, of course, are our employees. Again, everyone knows that we've reduced our number of full-time employees. At the end of February, we were at 221 full-time employees. Again, that's sharply down about, over 30 employees from where we were a year ago. When you look at the February financials, as a reminder, COVID shutdown really happened in March. So when we compare February of this year to February of last year, it was pretty much a normal world last year compared to where we are now.
I would make the assumption that once we get the first quarter financial statements, it's going to kind of give us a starting off point. And when Mr. Thomas Toole says we're going to open up, and he's smiling ear to ear, and that with any kind of luck with what the governor is doing, even if we get Cedar Fair, and I'm not picking a number, that I'm saying, but even if we get Cedar Point up to 50 or 60%, that's phenomenal. I know Steve's smiling too about that.
Absolutely. I think everyone's excited. Cedar Point's supposed to open on May 14th, so
Yes.
that'll be here very soon.
And I assume that's still a go, Steve? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So as expected, with the pandemic, the areas of concern for revenue are income tax, lodging tax, and emissions tax. So as expected, we are down in those areas at the moment, but that, of course, was budgeted for this year. No large surprises at the moment. The interest rate obviously plummeted with COVID, so we've seen a loss in interest. We've only had $2,200 in interest this year compared to last year where we were at $57,000. Police department for their fines from tickets is down still, along with municipal court revenue. Our revenue for the general fund in February was $2.1 million. I'm sorry, year-to-date in February was $2.1 million. For the same period last year, we were just over $3 million. So we're down about $900,000 in revenue. Again, most of that was expected. The good news is that we've held our expenditures down, and we are down $1.1 million in expenditures from February of this year compared to February of last year, largely, again,
I want to
contributed
embarrass
to employees.
myself. I know the federal government has given us till May 17th, which is going to push off filing returns again this year. Is the city going along with that, or?
So at this point, the IRS did extend the deadline
Right,
to May
just-
17th, but the State of Ohio Tax Commissioner has not announced anything.
Well, I understand
So-
this morning he's going to, but that's.
Right, so when that comes, we'll have to make a decision, and we'll work with Rita and figure out what we need to do. There was emails from Rita earlier this week that said, if
Because
something
it'd be almost
happens.
impossible to do a city return without doing the federal return,
Correct. So we assume it'll probably happen, but we don't have anything concrete yet.
which again, put our timing off again, because last year it was in July, and
Correct.
Oh.
Correct. We'll make the adjustments as needed, so we'll figure it out as we go. Looking forward, here in March is when we'll get our property tax settlement. We have not received it yet from Erie County, but we look to have, general fund usually gets about $900,000 in March for property taxes. Looking at our income tax receipts, what we've collected so far in March, we've collected year-to-date $2.1 million. Last year, at the end of March, we were at $2.7 million. We're down about $550,000 at the moment for income taxes. Again, that due date and other factors are playing into that, and until we get everyone back at work, the withholding tax is still strong. So a lot of these losses that we're seeing are from business returns, which was expected. The other thing I just want to mention is that we've had some discussion about House Bill 157, and that is where they're trying to repeal Section 29 of House Bill 197. That was for the employees that are working from home, and there's been talk of repealing that so that municipalities would only collect from where the employee's actually working instead of their normal place of business. So we've had discussions on that. That is something we'll probably be bringing to the commission so that the employers are required to still withhold from the employee's normal place of business. It's going to be a tracking nightmare and really unauditable because you have employees that go to the office 2 times a week.
Opinion that it's going to be next to impossible, because you could be working next door, but you're in California.
Correct. So we're going to work through that, and I'm sure, like we said, we'll have further discussion on all of that. If there's no questions on the February financials where we're at, I just wanted to touch on the stimulus dollars for a moment.
Fine.
So as you said, we have about $18.5 million that has been awarded to us. We are supposed to see the first half of that within 60 days. And at the moment, there's not complete guidance out on this. So we're waiting to get all the rules and regulations on this. What we do know at this point is that the half that we get up front is in 60 days. The other half can be a year from now. At this point, they're saying it's for lost revenue. There's questions on lost revenue, if it's supposed to just be our general fund or if it can be all funds, any place that we lost revenue, if we can use these stimulus dollars to replace any lost revenue across any of our accounts or funds. The other thing that we do know at the moment, they're saying it's for water and sewer and broadband. So as we get guidance on this, we'll figure out, what's going to be the best fit, what's allowed, and where we can legally go with those dollars.
Yeah, we're giving you the money, but we're not going to tell you how to spend it yet.
Correct. So I assume at any moment we'll be getting more guidance, but everyone is kind of in the same boat. A lot of questions. We have a lot of ideas. Like Eric mentioned, we've already been talking about it and where we need to plug in money and fill in the holes. As you mentioned, payroll stabilizations was definitely one of our top topics to talk about getting that funded to a more healthy balance. We also have our deficit in our general fund this year that was projected. Again, we're kind of waiting and seeing how the year goes. We're hoping that Cedar Point has a better year than what we expected. And we do have...
If I can ask you, what did we budget Cedar Point to open at a certain level? Steve, I don't know if you were in that conversation or...
So when we did the budget, it was a huge unknown. So we went on the very conservative side.
Okay.
So, and we still don't know, until the doors open and people start coming. I think, the vaccine's here. People are feeling more confident. If you go to the local restaurants and people are getting out, so hopefully when Cedar Point opens, we're going to have people there. Same thing with our...
When you get through July, then you'll know. Because I think it'll at least, and yes, I realize that's most of the summer's behind us then, but I think it'll give you a glimpse into how the fall's going to go, which is a big timetable for us too. So I think we're still about 3 months away from really knowing how the year's going to go for us.
Agreed. I think we're all kind of in the wait and see mode.
You see whether they can hire those 45,000 people so they can actually man the stations.
That might be an issue, and if you're all willing to volunteer, I'm sure we could use you.
Because you looked really lousy running the rides last year, Steve.
Yes.
That's really all that I had for my report.
I do want to bring a couple things. Obviously, we're getting this money. This is something that is to replace our lost revenues. I would caution Mr. Brady and Mr. Whoopser that it's not necessary to start a new project, because if we all remember the disaster we had when we took the grant for the fire department, and all of a sudden it got depleted and we didn't get it anymore, and that created even more problems in 2008. But having piggybacked off that, Michelle and I talked before these meetings just to kind of make sure that we're all on the same page. I understand that we have applied, Mr. Whoopser, for a grant to get our fire department up to its normal staffing, or police department. Help me, I can't remember.
Through the chair to Commissioner, it's for fire, and it would get us not to beyond our budgeted fund of employee levels, but to our budgeted employee
to get
levels.
it fully staffed. That's good.
Yeah.
Do we know when we'll find out about that, or is there a time frame? Or
Chief Orzek is on the call. He probably has the best information.
Chief, you got any feelings of when they're gonna?
It should, through the commission chair, it should be sometime in between May and September.
Okay, so we'll know this year yet. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Chief Green's done a good job with the fire department getting these grants put together. We also have a grant out for a pumper engine that is desperately needed. We have some support from Congresswoman Capter that Eric and the commission leadership have helped navigate. So that should be coming sometime in April or May too. Find out if we get that. That would be monumental for the EMS account and for the city finances overall. So we're holding out hope that we get that.
Chief Green, that's got to make you feel a little more comfortable that at least we'll be able to bring you up to a normal staffing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I have not had the pleasure of personally meeting you yet, so I've got to do that because I can walk out my back door to your back door and say hello to you.
No.
My parking lot is on Decatur Street where it's,
Oh, okay.
but again, I've heard nothing but good things, and again, I think right now, even though we've lost some of the top people and we've had to replace things, things are really going and humming in Sandusky, and I think it's going to continue on, Mr. Brady, and I think that's just a real positive, and we're still doing the things, we're still bringing people into the area, and there's still a lot of economic development.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think that one of the critical things that your committee allowed us to do and staff, under staff's direction, was to not totally eliminate certain programs,
Right.
but to reduce them to a level that was manageable during COVID. That strategy has turned out to be prophetic with getting this stimulus
absolutely.
dollars. As all of you, I'm sure, understand, it is so much easier to bring a program back to life after something like this than to start a new program. You receive a great deal of criticism starting new programs. You receive less criticism, and aptly so, by just breathing new dollars and new life into a program. That's what our intention is to do. This commission is going to take and does take this stimulus opportunity very seriously. We're going to use every one of these dollars as they're meant to be used, and we are going to try to find a way to inject them into neighborhoods where they are most needed. The headline of today's paper I could not be more pleased with. We are our first volley, our first shot in this war coming back is going to be to start resurfacing streets, and it is because of this committee's guidance and staff's guidance that we're in a position to restart the engine, so to speak, very, very quickly. And I think it was indicated to me by a very intelligent person, happened to be Mr. Wubser, early in this process, that cities that continue to plant seeds through economic hard times like this come back much quicker than cities that don't. I think we're going to get a bird's eye view of exactly how that's going to happen with Sandusky. I expect there is so much pent up demand out there that I do expect this economy to start rolling much sooner rather than later. And I think this advisory board and our staff and our commission are ready to turn this ship into the wind, and let's start launching, because it's time to go back to doing business.
Amen. I agree with that 110%. Again, I think hopefully we weathered the storm and we've got the reserves. And if you'd have told me a year ago that we were going to have $4 million in the checking account, I would have asked you where you were last night. So,
Exactly.
so.
I want to meet this intelligent Mr. Whoopser that Commission President Brady speaks of, because I've met a lot of Mr. Whoopsers through my 42 years, and I've yet to meet an intelligent one. So I'm curious.
We don't have time enough to debate that one. So, do you have any other specific items?
I do not. I just want to mention our next meeting, April
I was gonna say, that's
16th.
what-
I'm stealing your thunder for once.
No. You go ahead and do it. You're the boss.
So the Ray and Associates, our auditors, will be here. They wanted to have the pre-audit conference
Yeah,
for our
so-
April meeting.
So yes, on the 16th, so if you can possibly, I would definitely like a quorum, and this is a very nice turnout that, so Ray and Associates can go through, because last year they could not go through a lot of the different things because of COVID. So we're having the pre-audit conference on the 16th of April, and we're having the post-audit conference on June.
That
Oh,
may
I
need
just
to
put
be-
you on the spot.
No, that may need to be pushed back. We had some issues with the CAFR. LGS from the state of Ohio lost some employees. They're scrambling to fill positions at the moment to get our CAFR done. So if we can't get the CAFR done on time, it'll
Right.
push the audit back. So
Okay.
stay tuned on that one.
Well, they can explain to us that at the next next meeting, where we're at and when we can anticipate it.
Absolutely.
Are they going to give us an extension of filing the CAFR so we still get our nice certificate?
Correct, yes.
Yes. Yes. For some of you that have not been on the committee or have not followed, we have gotten a clean audit and we have gotten the auditor's seal of approval. They have to correct me every once in a while, but it's at least 18 years and it could be further than that. But again, sometimes we may not have as much money, but it just shows you the quality of the staff we have, and two of them are sitting right here in front of me. Eric, we've really got a good staff in there, and I think they work extremely well with you. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'll open it up for questions from the committee. Anybody on the committee have a question? Stuart, has anybody emailed anything to us? Questions? That would be Michelle. Okay, Michelle.
I had nothing.
So we've had nothing. It wasn't quite as nice as Wednesday, but it looks like hopefully it'll quit raining today and get out and enjoy it. And again, I want to appreciate and thank everybody for their participation. I know we've included a number of meetings, but I think they're essential just to make sure that we stay on this thing and we don't slip off any of the rails as we're bringing this engine back to total horsepower. So, again, thanks everybody for being on the call today. And I'll see everybody on the 16th. And I guess next thing, everybody have a great Easter. So.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good